rain has ended. We have 2 more matches for you guys tonight, starting things off with herO versus sSak. We're hoping to see the TVT from tonight. We both really want that, but it's not tonight. It's going to be later on. In fact, it will be next week. Just checked, May 4th.
That's right. Light's got a lot of TVT ahead of him, so we get a chance to see that tomorrow. But coming up, like you said, we get a chance to watch one of our many Zerg matchups. We got a chance to see Solky in our second game, and this time the Zerg player will be herO, winner of the fastest game at SSL Classic in week number 1. Hopefully the game is not quite that quick this time around, but maybe it could be.
We actually also haven't seen a macro TVZ game really yet this tournament. We saw effort really struggle with his lead there and struggle to defend the vulture drop that came into his main base and then ended up losing to a timing push there. But hoping that we get to see a long game with 3 bases stable for the Zerg, maybe perhaps a transition to mech that we might see from the Terran. Not just this very quick timing push oriented or timing attack oriented for an early push or an early rush, kind of lopsiding the game one way or the other, which has kind of been how TVZ has been this tournament. So here is herO. As you said, he won the fastest game in the SSL Classic against effort, but ended up losing his last map to Free.
Yeah, he lost a very quick game, or he won a very quick game, but he lost a very long, one of the better macro games that we've had here in SSL versus Free. And Free is a guy that's kind of struggling coming into SSL, especially in the ASL, getting knocked out. But he really showed up really well last week. And for herO, a guy that lost last week, has to come back tonight versus sSak, a guy that's really kind of struggling also, especially in his last match that we saw last week against effort.
Indeed. herO, I feel like you really have to put him in a jar of players that has done really well post-Kespa, but was to most people's opinion kind of a somewhat nobody before that. And again, one of the favorites to potentially make it into playoffs for Classic. But that loss against Free is definitely a big sting on his record. His opponent here is, of course, sSak, who is also one of those players that you put in the same bucket post-Kespa. He was an ex-SKT Terran, but post-Kespa, he's been really good. He won in a Sonic Star League, otherwise referred to as a foreign league as SSL. That's a different SSL, so don't get confused. Did win one of those, the OGN Star League there, so he has a title under his belt now and is looking to get out of this round-robin stage and advance to playoffs. It's hard to put a clear favorite on the table between these two, but I would lean towards sSak. He's usually a more solid player, more consistent overall, whereas a lot of herO's wins come from cheesy, super quick moves. But sSak is looking for a macro game here, and I hope we're going to get it. As I was talking about earlier, we really just haven't seen a macro TVZ.
Yeah, I mean, we got a chance to see sSak try to play against effort last time around, but man, effort really catching him off guard. We'll see if this same kind of style from herO can also catch him off guard as we get into our third game of the night, herO versus sSak. Sure the same people are cheering for both players, but regardless, we're all cheering for Jin Air. Big thanks to them for their sponsorship and spawning onto a different map. This time it's Circuit Breaker in the bottom left-hand corner in the purple. As our Zerg player, it's herO.
And his opponent to the top right in red, it is sSak, former SKT Terran. Now back here for another title, another Star League win.
Yeah, a lot of times people pretended like the T, instead of standing for Telecom and SKT, stood for Terran because they did have quite the legacy of incredibly strong Terran players. sSak, part of it, but definitely not the shining star by any means. It's really kind of been lately that he started to look good, but SSL had a rough week last week, so he asked his chance to redeem himself in this TVZ matchup tonight versus herO.
He does. Kind of ironic. You mentioned the SKT T1 Terrans. He's spawning in the 1 o'clock position as the red.
Indeed, he is the T1 tonight. Wow. Hopefully going to see a little bit of different style here by sSak. Last time around, Effort caught him at a really cool timing attack and caught a couple of his Marines outside of the barracks and depot wall and killed them off. And then at that point, sSak was really unable to pressure, and Zerg just kind of ballooned out of control after that. So this time around, it's on a different map. Not Neo Medusa, it's Circuit Breaker. One of the most balanced maps ever created, and they're spawning across positions.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's some early aggression comes out here for sSak, because of these cross positions. It's going to take a long time to get across the map, and that is going to be a big boon for herO, since he's going to have a lot more time to work with. He's going to be a lot more flexible in terms of getting his third base up and also getting his tech out. See how quickly he can get up the lurkers. If he can kind of maintain a small tech advantage. Those two bridges that you see actually that are the entrance to every main base on the map, all four, are a great spot to put your lurkers on the end of, because the Marine Bioforce with the medics coming through there is going to have a bit of a struggle to stim and fan out and split against the lurker spines that are going to groove down those bridges. So that's also one of the reasons why Zerg can do really well defensively on this map. Couple that with the fact that we have cross positions, it starts to feel like a favorable start here for herO.
Right, and both players aware of where each other are spawning currently. sSak by scouting, and herO by seeing the angle that the SCV did come from. So he will know that, and the SCV also, following this drone out, will be able to stop it from putting down a third hatchery if that is indeed what its purpose was meant to be.
Well, just going to see the continued scout here, and looks like the drone is just making sure there's no bunkering going on or anything like that. So no third hatch. Should be a bit crazy to see that early. Crazier things have happened. And the lair will be scouted here by sSak, getting out of the ordinary. And he's going to make his command center on the high ground, just to be safer.
Yep. Last time around, we did see, at least versus sSak, herO or Effort went for a very fast pool and put on the pressure. This is not the style herO's going for, so we get a chance to see sSak what he can do when he's not pressured so hard early on. SCV getting in, getting off the scout. We'll see a fast lair on the way.
Yep. SCV trying to continue the mineral walk to get any more information. Not going to happen, does get taken out here, and the Zergling is going to go to try to verify if there's a CC or not. Two Marines at the front should deny said scout. Look at that, moves him just in time. That Zergling is not going to know. The Academy is coming up here, just like clockwork. He's going to want to get Marine range and stim very early. The Hydra's then coming up, so it's just going to be fast lurkers, as you would expect to see. Because he wasn't able to confirm this, he might be a little bit worried that it's going to be a Mutalisk attack early, so we'll see how much he commits in terms of getting missile turrets up, or if he's just going to kind of expect the norm. Yeah. Speaking of which, there's a ton of speedlings on the map, but he doesn't have any bunkers set up right now.
Wow, and he's actually floating his command center down to the natural expansion right now. That is not going to be a good idea. It will be able to block against Zerglings, but those Maynarding SCVs might actually instead have to use to hold on to this ramp.
Yep, he's going to use them at stop position or hold position here at the front of these, in front of the Marines. The CC is going to be forced to lift, and he actually loses control of his natural, but he was able to see this. This is why you send out SCVs periodically like we saw sSak do, because he was able to see these things. Had he not seen them, moved his entire SCV line and Marines down, perhaps he just straight up dies. So this is still a terrible position for him because he can't land his CC, but he survives because of that scout.
Right, and we do see, I believe those are Hydras coming out across the map. Indeed they are, and those will be positioned right outside of sSak's base. They'll be morphed into lurkers, and at that point, that's when things get really dirty.
Yeah, but if sSak survives and he can break out, he's going to be in great position. He's building up so many SCVs. The CC actually not being landed is kind of an issue because he can't build double SCVs. He doesn't have a decent amount of tech if he can survive this. The Hydra is actually still hidden for the time being. He doesn't know about them, so he actually wants to reclaim this. SCV is coming down, but he does not know the follow-up attack is on the way. A massive one at that.
Yeah, lurkers should be morphing right about now, and we'll see when they do finally finish
there they
up.
Are.
Indeed, there they are, unscouted, coming in. Now, Comsat Station number 2 is on the way, and that will be a big factor in here for scanning to clear out these lurkers. These will be incredibly effective. They'll be comboed with a bunch of Zerglings. There's a Fire Bat and a bunch of Marines, but will it be enough?
The bunker's finishing up here just in time, as well as a missile turret is going down. The eBay just finished. And here we go. He's just going to try to rust up and run through, perhaps. Scan comes down immediately. Target on the lurker here. Actually, does not go down immediately, but it will eventually go down. The repair on the bunker is good. As he deal with that last lurker.
Oh
He's on
my
the scan.
God.
I think this is a good defense.
Look at these spines. It will kick out one lurker. Everything inside, almost everything going down. The lurkers, though, will be dealt with. They will be forced to unburrow and run back away. Defense successful.
He had everything he needed. The bunker's finished just in time. The turret as well, so he didn't need to have scans. This attack isn't completely over yet, but he's got a good hold so far. Just wants to try to get up the ramp. But there's a wall here with the medics. He's trying to break up. The few Zerglings do get inside.
The spikes will be able to run up the ramp, and so will the Zerglings. The last couple of Marines going down. SSak's base being broken. The last lurker will be able to run up the ramp. No, it's forced to burrow on it.
First to burrow, and actually the medics can buy a little bit of time here. The bunker trying to do what it can here. A few more links coming in though, and that is actually going to be the end of this main base.
Yet no more scans left available. Nothing can deal with that lurker. It's going to run up the ramp, right on top of the production facilities. SCV's pulled off.
He needs to kill it. He's going to try to kill it with the SCVs and the one Marine. It does go down. Now, can he keep this wall tight? He absolutely can hold it. He can keep this wall tight.
Oh my God.
The bunker's still alive. He wants to get a second one. He may be on a bit. Look at how few drones are left at the main base. This is completely all in right now from herO. This is what I'm talking about. A lot of the games herO has won have been all of these cheesy attacks. This game is not over yet. He's going to send the links back home. The attack is held for now, but look at the minimap. You can see he's rallying a lot more units over. Looks like he might have one more lurker attempt, as SSak is now comfortable enough to even tech to factory.
Now, I don't even know if he actually has additional lurkers coming up there. It looks like mostly Zerglings for now. Is he going to wait to morph a couple more?
We're not looking at the minimap, so I'm not sure. I think he's got to have a few, right? Just pure Lingus is crazy if he's going to try to break with that.
Yeah, because he knows there's Fire Bats and bunkers. That's just not something Zerglings deal with, and the ramp is most likely going to be blocked as well. Now, I saw an Overlord moving forward. I don't think that has drop. If he did go for lurker drop, then that would be insane. But I don't think he has lurkers. I don't think he has drop. I don't think he has anything except Zerglings, which most likely are not going to work.
Look at these missile turrets as well. He's like, okay, what do you need to switch to mutas? I'm ready for that too.
Yeah.
I have, again, just a large amount of bio. If you have enough units to break me, it's going to be crazy. Now, here come the mutas. Okay. He has turrets set up in the natural. This main base turret's about to finish. He has his units in the middle of both bases so he can respond to both locations. His production has turrets to protect it. And I feel like he just defends this and wins the game. Like, there's just not even that many mutas.
Yeah, he was only able to make, I think, maybe 3. When one Mutalisk runs into your base, I mean, that's when you just have more turrets than there are mutas.
That's right.
I mean, right now, SSak's got this big banana grin on his face. It's like, oh, a Mutalisk. That's interesting. Look at that. He's just building infinity turrets in his base.
Yep. But he's got enough SCVs where he could probably start adding more barracks on soon, too. Big stem here. He's not even confident enough to actually try to pick off Marines because he knows how desperate he is. Losing a single muta would be disastrous right now. And
I don't even know what the game plan is. There's no additional hatcheries coming down.
He is going to make one up to the top left, and he does have more drones now. That is natural, but the problem is SSak has a massive, massive army, and the second he realizes that, we're seeing the expansions coming out for herO, you can just move across the map and put on some heavy, heavy pressure. He has been stuck on the 2 barracks for a while now, but he should be building further infrastructure right now to deal with that. You can see here now adding on the starport so we can get the science facility out. And just still sticking with the 2 barracks, but he's starting to pressure across the map. He's just slowly sticking his head out saying, are there a bunch of lings out here? Are you trying to trick me and trap me and just all in me? Or can I go see if you have another base yet? He's starting the +1 now for his Marines. He's got massive amount of turrets. You may even argue that SSak was over-committing to the muta defense here.
Yeah, I mean, lay mutars are pretty good, but not in small numbers like that. And certainly, doing a good job in keeping SSak in his base. but I don't know if there's a way to macro yourself out of this. We saw Queen's Nest on the way, looking to maybe even further tech up to Hive. I don't even know if that's going to save you as these first bio balls start to run across the map for SSak.
Well, he actually has this nice little run by force here. This is exactly what SSak was most worried about.
Oh boy.
Okay, both bunkers set up though, and he's got a siege tank out now, and the bio is not forced to turn around, which is very critical. If the bio had to turn around, this would be a different story, but he just continues to move over there. There should be, theoretically, a lurker at the top of the ramp to the top left right now to defend. I think I can see that on the mini-map, and he should have that. So breaking that is not going to be possible with this small army, but if you can catch some lings in the middle of the map like this, that's good. And force, again, more units instead of drones.
Oh, man. Now, Science Vessels will be on the way soon, and I think that is really what might be the nail in the coffin here. Zergling's attempting to run by, Bio Ball perfectly positioned to stop them.
The Hive is on the way, as you mentioned before, trying to desperately get defilers out. Maybe that's how he turns this game around. But
it's going to be rough. I mean, he's going to have to land perfect Plague Ooze, perfect Dark Swarms to defend ramps. And oh, wow, there's even dropships out here. So even if he defends the 2 ramps at the entrance to his natural, there's going to be stuff buried into his main.
Yeah, well, I think the drop is probably going to head to the top left base, right? And that's going to just kind of nullify the fact that there's a lurker at the top of the ramp. It's going to be difficult to get that in with the lurker actually sending it down to the bottom left instead. So perhaps you were right after all about where he's going to send it. But he's going to send it to the main base now.
Oh, Muta's coming down, trying to keep this bio ball corralled in the middle.
Ooh, Medic very vulnerable there, does pick it off. He's just going to hit the main base, as you mentioned, and the Mutas are nowhere nearby to stop. This is a full unload in the main. This could do a massive amount of damage.
He's sending the Mutas actually to go harass right as he is about to have a stemmed up force of Marines running right into his mineral line.
Instantly pulling the drones, at least the majority of them here. Ooh, 1 Muta getting picked off. 2 Mutas going to get picked off, as well as these Overlords. This is already so much damage.
And sending Zerglings to deal with this, where now your SimCity works against you. You can like put the Marines right in between, behind the extractor. And I mean, it might be enough to clear it up, but look at the Mutas. They're being targeted. They will start to go down, and even though it's cleared up, a lot of damage done.
Now, this is what I was expecting the medevac to do first. I said medevac. Pardon me, StarCraft 1 fans. Nice pick on the dropship there. The dropship gets shut down. That was a very predictable path there.
Wow.
He knew especially that once the drop was shown in the main, there was going to be a follow-up drop because he just drops the Marines out and runs away. In StarCraft 1, you don't usually save the Marines in the dropship like you do in StarCraft 2.
Right.
You just kind of leave them there and use a drop for something else elsewhere on the map. Irradiate should be ready. Needs to split.
Oh,
great split here by herO.
So sick. That's actually some of the best Muta splitting I have ever seen. Is actually WoW going to be able to get back here? Might actually even be able to pick off the Science Vessel, but no, it stays alive.
Looks like that vessel's going to go home for a repair job.
Okay, Greater Spire on the way. Now, that's a little bit wacky because that is going to be for Guardians.
Yeah, which I don't know is really the answer here. Going to try to catch some tanks. Really aggressive Mutalist play,
he has like
by the way.
3 Mutas in that ball, though, so this is the push that is going to be so difficult to deal with. I mean, like I said, Plague, Dark Swarm, you land those spells right, and almost anything is possible, but this will be a rough situation.
Especially with this many siege tanks.
Whoa.
Oh, man, throws 2 Scourges. That vessel is super low, and I can understand the greed, but another Irradiate goes off.
Whoa, this one not
this one was not as great. Oh, that was almost really bad. Eventually gets it. But the bigger issue here is the army that's hitting his base. The Defiler Mound is ready. Does he have Defilers on top of that ramp? We didn't see a shot of him, and I don't think so. He's got a Nidus, though, so maybe he's got some in the main base.
Well, I mean, there's nothing coming through the Nidus.
Yeah.
That's what we need to see. Finally, he's a...
2 Zerglings, that's not it. The Lurkers at the top of the ramp are no longer
the saviors of this base. 2 Lurkers. More Lurkers popping out, but he needs a Defiler.
I think the space is forfeit.
Yeah,
he has Marines on top of the Nidus now. Okay, Dark Swarm here, but not really. It's just too late. He's just going to run around it here, take the right side angle, take out the Nidus first. Only a few Lurkers, 2 of them pop out. The Defiler trying to escape, but to no avail. At least the Mutas find the siege tanks at the back, but this base is going to go down regardless. This is a small consolation prize for herO right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Defiler sitting there, but all he can do is dance to the beat of SSak's drum, wiggling and jiggling. The Mutas go down, and this is it.
Yeah, that's going to be game over very likely here. Okay, Lurkers under the Swarm, which is actually doing a lot for him.
Okay. Oh, he can actually save that Mutalism, but...
Okay, how many more Marines are at the top, though? That's what we really need to be looking at. The hatch is already dead.
Looks like that is a solid 1, Wolf. One. Oh, okay. All right, we scrolled further up. This is why Brood War is a great game. You don't know. A couple of Marines and a medic survive. Lurker should be able to take that out. Every time I think that a herO is just totally donezo, he manages to just barely hang on.
Well, I mean, this is the bigger story, right? Like, maybe he didn't type GG, but he's basically totally donezo unless he can pull a miracle. It's very critical that not all drones were killed, and he was able to get another Nidus Canal up there, because without the Nidus Canal, he can't rebuild this hatchery, he can't get the defenses up for it. Guardians on the defense, I mean, we see something new every day. We'll see if that's enough. It's something going to make it easier to defend, but it's an expensive investment.
Yeah, you can also just irradiate the Guardians, so this will be a difficult base to defense.
The thing is, he has Dark Storm, which can help buy him a lot of time. He doesn't have a lot of units anyways, so maybe they can't be killed, but they're not going to do any damage. Once the swarm fades, it's all going to end. Look at this, just endless supply of macro coming out from sSak.
Yeah, 5 racks up in the base, and the third base about to come down here. sSak just pumping it out from his corner of the map, pretty unharassed. He still has those insane number of missile turrets up, so he is going to be good to go for the time being.
He just wants to commit to this base, but decides against it. Decides that he just wants to go to the heart of the swarm, if you will. I'm not talking about the second expansion of StarCraft 2. He wants to go into the natural here, smash those high-tech units. Look at how many, he has more vessels than there are Defiler strategies, so he could just irradiate here. That's what he's looking for. They hide. I think he got one, though. Saw the animation.
Yeah, that's actually pretty sick. I might have irradiated there. It's going to go underneath the Dark Swarm. Difficult to target those. There's finally an irradiate, which is actually dealing a little bit of damage to these Marines. They're just going to run right by the Dark Swarm, and this is going to be so hard to deal with.
And as you said, I think herO is now finally donezo in this game. There's just not much. He has the swarm, so there's nothing underneath him, and that is going to be it. He loses the hatch. Now going to lose all of his tech. Look at Defiler's like eating drones. He's like, oh, please, I hope. I don't know. I don't have plague, though.
sSak is picking herO up, and he's going to body slam him onto the express train to Frowntown. The natural goes down.
Matter scans.
And with it go the herO's hopes of winning this game. I mean, Lurker X morphed on the ramp might be invincible, but herO is not.
No, he's not. Eventually going to go down. Finishes morphing. And I know that everyone always makes the joke that one Lurker on top of the ramp can hold Infinity Marines, but that's just a myth. It can only hold about 999,000.
Yeah, but it's Infinity -1. Turns out that's still Infinity, but not for the purpose of the game tonight.
herO is donezo, and sSak will take the win.
Indeed he will. Wow, what a game.
The all-in defense really won him the game there, and then it was kind of a matter of just following up without making mistakes, having the turret set up for muted defense. Perhaps he made too many turrets, but he was still ahead enough. We can hit the bases, that drop in the main base, and the constant attacks and aggression going up to the top left. Third base is eventually toppled over herO. Going for Guardians there, an interesting choice. We saw a few Guardians pop up, but not really do anything significant. And you have to wonder, was that even the right choice, given the situation, the amount of pressure he was facing early on? I feel like the attack was well executed, but again, we talk about this. This happens so much in SSL. You have an attack, a build that's really solid, but you have all the cards stacked against you. Cross spawns on this map. You have the worst chance of making this happen. He was scouted as well. He had the bunker set up there, had the turret up. That turret was super important.
Insane.
He did everything right.
Yeah, I mean, really for herO, once you go for that all-in, macroing your way out of it is a little bit of a rough thing to ask. I mean, he did get a 6 snipe on that dropship when it came in, got it with the Scourge, and then tried to save that base, but in the end it just was not enough. And sSak sort of rallies from his loss to effort last week, picks up a win against his Zerg opponent today. Now, the player that did manage to take him out last week, effort, will be playing our final series of the night versus one of the most dangerous Protoss ever to Protoss, and that is Free. So we'll have that series as our final game of the night. It's going to be a fast game tonight, but don't go anywhere, guys. Stick around. We'll be right back.